ain't gonna lie to you, when I came out, the sun was shining. But it's now about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's sun's gone down now a little bit and it's gone behind the clouds, so it's getting a little bit chilly. Typical. I just thought I'd come out to my favourite place. It's about 5 minutes from home and I camp up here quite a bit. And if you see my last video, I came up here and it was absolutely covered with fly tipping. I thought I'd come and check it out and it seems quite clear, which is great. But anyway, I thought I'd come up here and get a bit of me time, have a nice cup of coffee, and while I've cleaned the van, I thought I'd give you a little tour, because I've done quite a bit to the van since I did my last van tour, and it's changed a bit inside. So I thought I'd come out, set it up properly, and show you exactly what we've got inside the van. First off, let me show you whereabouts we are. Oh, right. So you can see that I've got the awning up, which again is in another video how I made that. Made it all myself, apart from the poles obviously and the tarpaulin, but the actual thing that goes on top of the van, the actual attachment for it runs along there. I made myself and designed that, and works quite well. A few people that I know have actually copied that. And this is actual common land where you can actually drive your vehicles on and find places to park up. I don't know if they're camping the night in their vehicle or not, but there's a few people over the back there as well. But we found this nice little spot here, and thought I'd put the awning up and chill out. So what you're going to find with this video is this isn't an Instagram perfect video. This is my van as it's set up, how I use it when I go out. So if it looks a mess, that's probably because it is a mess, but this is how a van gets used. This is what happens when you go out day to day, or live in a van. Not going to live in a van of this size, but when you use a van for camping, this is exactly how it will be set up. You know, it's not going to be absolutely perfect. There's going to be bits everywhere, but this is the beauty of this video. It's going to actually show you what it's like when you go out in a van. And if I sounded out of breath then, that's probably because I am. Because I've just gone arse over tit. Because we've got absolutely covered in molehills here. And I wasn't looking where I was walking and I've just gone flying. How can something so small make such a mess? So I'm going to start with the outside of the van. So I've already touched on the awning. I'm not going to go on about that too much. But under the awning here, in this pull-out section here, which I've got, I'm not going to pull it out now, but that's the shower system. That pulls out to about here, and then a curtain goes around it. And then when you've got the canopy up here, you've got an outdoor shower area. And then when you're sitting outside, just by the sliding doors, I've put some sockets here with some USBs. Work really, really well. And then once you've got the table up and you're sitting outside, if you've got a little table down here or something, then you can use those sockets. And what I use those sockets for is I attach a light up there as well. So at night time, we've got some light outside. And obviously you might want to charge your phones when you're outside as well. Let me just jump onto the roof and I'll show you what I've got powering my 40 amp hour leisure battery. It's a very small leisure battery, but all I use that for is in the winter purely to power the diesel heater, and then in the summertime I just use it to power the lights in the ceiling, and that's pretty much all the leisure battery is used for, because I've got 2 power packs that I use for everything else. But if we jump up onto the roof, I made that solar panel look a little bit bigger than it actually is. That's a lie. Things you can do on video, eh? It's bloody tiny, but it's a 30 watt and it works a bloody treat. That's pretty much all there is to the outside. I've got no windows. I try and keep it as stealthy as possible, and that's all there is on the roof really. I do put a roof rack and a roof box on the top, so when I'm going away I shove my clothes in there and stuff like that, but really that's it to the outside. I try and keep it as stealthy as possible so it looks like a bit like a builder's van. So if I'm tripping out and about and I can't find somewhere to park up, I can just park up in the street and it would just look like a random van. So let's start from the rear, shall we? Right. This little cabinet here, this is where the diesel heater sits. Just running a bit low on the old diesel because I've been using it well. I've got the cables round the back of it there, situated nicely, coiled up, nice and tidy. They are for the solar panel, and then I've obviously got a bigger solar panel which I use. Sometimes I put out onto the roof if I'm at camp. Back doors here, little table for outside. This is what I put the stove on. As you can see, again, well used, but that was my own fault. But yeah, little table there, and obviously these doors completely fold out. Also for access at the rear is this panel here, which we can just open up, and that's where I keep my water supply. Now I do keep just 5 litres of fresh water. Damn it, I was gonna make a cup of tea. And then I've got 2 5 litres of waste. And the reason why I keep it to 5 litres of each is if there's 5 litres of clean, I'm gonna have 5 litres roughly of waste, unless I've been making a cup of tea and stuff, and then obviously there's to be less, but I know 5 litres will be enough. And that just feeds up water into my USB powered tap, which I've got, into my sink, which actually is a dog bowl, which I brought from Pets at Home, and then I just put the sink attachment in and then just run the waste system down into the dirty water tank. That's where the kettle sits when we're out and about. Stop it rattling around and moving around. Moving up, obviously I've got my carbon monoxide alarm there because I've got to run a diesel heater, and sometimes I do cook with gas in the van. Thermometer. And then this is just a, this was bought for our old car, and it goes down the side of the seat so you can put your coffee cups in, but I just use this just to store random little bits and pieces. This up here, this board I made up, and this is where my iPad attaches on Velcro, and I use my iPad for TV. Obviously got your fire extinguisher as well, safety first and all that. This is just a little wooden, I think it's a spice rack. I think quite a few people have got these in their vans. Bought it from IKEA, shoved it up, and then underneath I've got my little jars for tea, coffee, sugar. A real simple idea is you've got the lids, put 2 screws in to stop it spinning around, and then the jars, and then the jars go in like that. So that's the kitchen area, and then here's the cabinets, which I've made up. Let me just zoom out a bit so you can see it a bit better. These cabinets I made from, these are from wet room, sort of like PVC units, plastic units. They're really, really good. And I made these little doors here, and this is where I store all my gear. So I've got all my gas there, Ridge Monkey, knives and forks, all my pots and pans and stuff like that. Just get shoved in there in no particular order. Now the bed system I made myself is the same as pretty much everybody who's built their own camper has got. It's just a slat bed which pulls out, and it's a large single, small, comfy double, shall we say. I'll just pull that out and show you how it goes. And there you have it. A small single, a large single, sorry, but a very small double. And it is actually very comfy. These are made of IKEA mattress. It was a large single IKEA mattress that I bought, and I just cut it up, made the back panel and then the actual seat that you sit on, and it's got a little bit of a memory foam topper on it, and it is bloody comfortable. So that's the basics of the van, of the inside. Let me show you what I've got underneath the bed now. Right, so let's move underneath the bed. We'll start left to right. A little storage container just there, the little plastic thing that you can see, that's got my power in it. Then a little gap there, got my sleeping bag, got my toilet, and down the very end there is the diesel heater. The toilets I'm getting rid of because they take up way too much room. Yeah, those toilets take up way too much room. I don't think they're designed for small vans like this. Well, obviously not. So I'm going to get rid of those, and there's a company called Trebolo who make really good composting toilets, and they collapse down as well, and they go quite small, so they'll slide under there, so there'll be more room for food and clothes. So let's move up from the kitchen area and move up along here, and this is my CCTV, which is actually on the back door. Obviously it's facing outwards that way at the moment because I've got the back door open, but that's what I use for CCTV. It's a 4K camera, and more details on that camera can be found on another video that I've done. Basically it's a reversing camera, but you can turn those guiding lines off, and so I've just used it as a CCTV monitor because I've got no windows in the van. I'd like to see what's going on outside. Obviously, I can see what's going on through the front, but out the back, I can't. So, yeah, I installed that, and it works an absolute treat. And then I've got this switch here for the main lights in the ceiling, and I've got 4 of those bad boys, and that's enough to keep me illuminated, shall we say. And if they do get too much, then I can turn the brightness down with the little control panel that come with it. It's 12 volt and just plugs into a cigarette adapter. This Fiat Doblo didn't come with any roof space at all. Well, it had plenty of roof space, but I built this kind of shelf thing. Now, it's not very tall, but it is enough to roll up some clothes and shove them down. And that goes all the way back there to the very end. So there's plenty of storage up there, and I keep some clothes on this side. These are some extra cushions for when the bed's made up. And then down here, there's a little bit more extra room down there. As you can see, it goes quite far back. So moving round, this is obviously where you got your back. And I made this little cubby hole thing. Pretty good. Well, don't ask. Actually, it was a bloody nightmare. After building this whole van, building that little cubby hole was the most difficult thing I think I've done. And boy, oh boy, it took some doing. But it's really good. Anyway, and that's where I got the good old bungee, and that's where I just store, you know, sort of wet wipes, toiletries and stuff like that. And it does light up as well. I'll show you in a minute. There we go. It lights up. It's got some LEDs that run down the bottom there, just for a little bit of ambiance. Now for cooking, what do I use for cooking? Simple, really. Your typical trusty gas stove, which I have realised isn't very trusty in wintertime because that gas is no good. It all runs off 12 volt. It's a leisure battery, 40 amp hour leisure battery under there. Now I know that's not a lot, but that little panel up there on the roof is enough to power it and keep it topped up in the summertime. And it runs a diesel heater, a treat. And what I do have extra in there is I've got a 300 watt power pack and a 600 watt power pack. The 600 watt power pack is from All Powers, and it's absolutely brilliant. And that charges enough, gives you enough charge for your phones and stuff like that. And when I'm out on the road driving around, I'll take the power packs into the front passenger seat and just plug them into the cigarette charger, and it's enough to charge it up, you know, gives it about 80 to 90 watts of input, so it doesn't take too long to charge up really. You can plug the All Powers thing into the mains if you can get onto a campsite or whatever. Charges in an hour. Told you I've got extra solar power. There it is down there, the All Powers SP27, and that's about 100 watts. So I always use that when I'm out on camp and I've sort of set up. So there you have it, whistle stop tour of the van there. And you'll be seeing more of this van this year in videos and adventures that I'm going to be getting up to. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like the van. And I hope if you are building your own van, that's given you some ideas of what to do. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can do things on a budget and make it work, trust me. And I'm just going to pack up the awning and I'll show you how easy that is to do. And that is it, all packed up. So I'm going to head back off home now. Before we drive off, have a look at these molehills. Mole mountains, they're not molehills. They're enormous.